Hey guys, how you doing? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report with tip number 18 of our 30 tips in 30 days, Dog Days of Summer series. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these tips. As always, don't forget, subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right hand corner, or hit the subscribe button below this video if you're watching on a mobile device. Alright, tip number 18 is betting into the do factor theory, right? A little Shakespeare logo right there is to, he says to be or not to be. Well, this is to win or not to win their next game, right? And you hear it all the time. Oh, this team is due to win their next game. They're on a 3-4 game losing streak. Oh, they're due to cover. Oh, they're due to score a touchdown eventually. And you don't want to get caught into that do factor mindset, because if you do, well, too many do's right there, but you know what I'm trying to say is it's almost like a mind trap, right? You want to break down the game, you want to do analyze the numbers, and you want to handicap your number against the bookmaker's number, because at the end of the day, it could be Dallas against Green Bay on the field, but really it's your number against the bookmaker's number, and you want to find where the answers are in the middle, right? I always say the answer always lies in the middle somewhere. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring up my Excel sheet because it's on the website a little too small. Once you get over 50, your eyesight goes, right? So you still try to avoid all the squinting, and I'm sure everybody out there with glasses appreciate that. So one of my favorite lines, I got a lot of them, as you know, but so I say stay away from the do factor. It doesn't exist. The line will always tell you what the story is, and what that means is that think like a bookmaker. My good friend Ross Benjamin says it all the time. Think like a bookmaker, because at the end of the day, it could be Green Bay against Dallas on the field, but again, it's your line against the bookmaker's line, and the line will always tell you what's going on in that game. If let's say Green Bay is playing Detroit and Aaron Rodgers not playing, well, that line goes from 10 to maybe 5, and you're saying, or 4 maybe, and you're saying, oh, Rodgers not playing, look at the line, right? The line will always, it might not always tell you the exact same truth, but it might trigger something for you to go investigate what's going on with that line, right? Hear it all the time. Maybe that's another video, right? That line looks a little fishy. Hey, there could be another tip for a video. The fishy line. But sticking with the do factor theory type of thinking, and when I did my research here, I took the last 3 games, 4 games, and 5 games. And the one thing I love about doing these videos, and I'm sure you guys are seeing me repeat some of this a few times, but it's good though. It's a good thing on pattern recognition, right? And some of the patterns and some of the topics I'm always talking about when I'm breaking down these videos is home teams winning at a 60% clip, home teams, favorites. Winners win, right? And sometimes when you've been in the industry as long as I have, 24 years, I always remember how you came in and what were your mindset as the first 3 years when you handicap, right? You came in almost like a fan, and then you started listening to friends or handicappers, and then you slowly shifted what got you good. And then next thing you know, your mindset is totally different. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but the thing at the end of the day, what you keep forgetting is that winners win. And favorites, they win in football 54% of the times at home and 45% on the road. But when it comes to different sports like college football, 60% of home teams win at home. And sometimes it's really tough to always back favorites, right? Because you're thinking, oh, it's a favorite, I'm going to lay the chalk. Favorites all win forever. And then, you started becoming the nickname of the chalk eater, or you're going to wash down that milk with all that chalk and blah, blah, blah. You just get caught into that mindset of the favorites. But at the end of the day, the goal is to make a unit. And I used to be in baseball, like I would never lay 150, but then you realize, you know what? If that means, if I'm confident enough that that team's going to win at 180 or 190, and I'm going to make one unit, and I know I'm going to, I'm really confident they're going to win. At the end of the day, if you made the unit, there's some sound money management practices you got to exercise, but it's called gambling, So you just got to make sure that every decision you make in sports betting is a wise one, an educated one, and one that you can live with at the end of the day. And you got to have a theory, right? In the Raymond Report, I talk about value, percentage play, and performance cycles. I keep looking for indicators that gives me, once I string along enough positive indicators towards a play, and I can pull the trigger on that play, then so be it, right? So 3 game, 4 game, 5 game lose streak in the NFL. Now, instead of breaking and telling you guys, 2 games, 3 games, I'm just going to bring out the color patterns. See patterns right there that come to our attention. And this way we focus. Less is more, right? The one thing I've learned doing the videos is less is more. And try to keep them under 10 minutes, but sometimes it's hard, especially when it's football. Now, favorites on a 3-game losing streak the last 4 years. Look at this, 25-19 straight up, but only 39% against the number. So you would think, okay, this team's going on a 3-game losing streak, they're a favorite, but they do win 57% of the time. Oh, I'm going to take them to, the bookmaker doesn't see that. He won't know that this favorite's going to win. Oh, yeah, they will. 39% of the, that's how sharp the line has been on favorites on a 3-game losing streak. So anytime you're looking at losing streaks, you just always go back to the roles, right? Home, away, favorites, and underdogs. Recognize those roles because they all have meaning. And it's just sometimes we don't really put a lot of emphasis on those roles. There's a big difference when Green Bay's playing at home or when Detroit's playing at home, or when Detroit's playing on the road, right? So if Detroit's playing in, say, the Rams, that's a big difference than when Detroit's playing at home against, say Arizona or a team that's really struggling. Let me see, like the Jets or something, right? So see how the mindset can change when you start thinking of the roles of home, away, favorites, and underdogs plays a big difference. All right, now let's take a look at the over-under on 3-game losing streaks right there for favorites. Look at that. So every other is 54, 53, 53 during the rolls. But look at the favorites on a 3-game losing streak the last 4 years. 64%. 28-16 to the over. What does that tell us, really? So that tells me we got a team that's a favorite going into this game. Now, we don't know if it's a team above or below 500, but we do know they're going into this game as a favorite. So right there, that's a positive mindset. But the only thing is they're on a 3-game losing streak. And what kind of game are they going to have? If they're a favorite and they're on a 3-game losing streak, will this be a high-scoring game? Well, apparently so, because it's 28-16 to the over, and the favorite should give you some indication of that. But again, what's the total on the game? That's a question for another day, right? But again, three-game losing streak for favorites the last 4 years. Now, looking on the 4-game losing streak, things that look at that 4-game losing streak, and again, look at that, favorites again. Hey, how many times? I should have an over-under on how many times I'm going to say, look at that. But favorites on a 4-game losing streak, 71% compared to 57%. And then on a 5-game losing streak, 63%. So what do I always say? The truth always lies in the middle. Always remember, try to go to find the middle. Always find the middle. And that's where you'll find normally a lot of answers. Not every answer, but a lot of answers. But now look at the over-under. Not as lucrative as a 3-game losing streak for favorites. 65% of those games go under the total, and now 35% go over the total, as the record is 6-11-0 to the under, favoring teams that are favorites on a 4-game losing streak. Does that one game make that much of a big difference on a total? That's a question that I got to ponder and research. 50% on the over-under. Look at that, 50%. In fact, look it up here, 51, 51, 52, 59. 4 of the 5 on the 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 of the 5 are 50% or higher, 1% lower. But look at this one, 1, 2, 3, 50% and 46. Only one of them in the above, say 50, high 50s, right? So 4 away teams on a 4-game losing streak, 57% and 46% chance of winning. They all have a losing percentage except for that 4-game losing streak. But again, favorites, right? Pattern recognition right here. And a lot of unders right here. 35, 45, 42, 35. We're here. 54, 53, 53. Only 1, 47. So 4-game losing streak, unders. 3-game losing streak, overs. And favorites, again. Favorites and straight up. And for the NFL 5-game losing streak, again, look at that. Favorites, 63%. Only 50% against the point spread, 58, 56, 50, 59. Now it gets a little bit more positive because now the bookmakers is throwing you a bone type thing. He goes, okay, you know what? This team is, they're not having a good run. They're on a 5-game losing streak. The public confidence was going to be very low. They're going to go the other side. So let's adjust our numbers. So this way we do get some action on the team that's on a 5-game losing streak, right? And look at the unders again, 46, 42, 44, 44. So from the first string of losing streak, 3-game losing streak, look at the over-unders, right? 4 of the 5 are on the overs, but then it's all downhill because think of it. If a team's on a 4-game losing streak, obviously they're not scoring points. And if they're depending on their defense and the opponent they're playing, it is a good, maybe a good bet towards the under, betting NFL teams on a 4 or 5 game losing streak. All right, let's go to college football. And again, college football home teams the last 4 years win 60% of their games, and road teams only win 38%. And, college football and NFL, apples and oranges, right? It's just the crowd on the home football, college football on a game day is just absolutely energetic. I guess that's the best word we can say. Very energetic. And let's see if any pattern development research that we can see here that are the same or the complete opposite, right? Apples and oranges. So teams on a 3-game losing streak, when you look on the rolls here, so home, away, favorites, there's favorites again, for 61%, but they only cover 40%. So again, be careful on teams that are favorites on a 3-game losing streak, because they don't, the bookmakers, they know that you're thinking about taking them because they see this here, and then they put that right there. On a 4-game losing streak, 66%, 50, everything's low 50s right here on a 4-game losing streak, so they're, a little bit different. But here's the favorites on a 5-game losing streak, 81%. Favorites, yeah, if you're a favorite and you're on a 5-game losing streak, yeah, eventually a favorite's gonna, every dog finds a bone, right? So there's one right there, 81%. And 67%, and look at that, 58% to the over. I find in college football a little bit completely different than the NFL for totals. Over, look at this in the first strings of 3-game losing streak, not one under. Everything is over. The lowest at 51, the highest at 59. There's 2 of them at 59. And then in the second one, all in the 50s again to the over. And then here you start getting a couple of unders. But yeah, so 81%. But again, pattern development, right? Recognition, favorites, home teams, 60%, things that keep coming back. And you do these videos long enough, you'll start picking up trends, and subconsciously you're going to pick those up when you handicap, and hopefully it sticks. And for my Canadian CFL football friends, I didn't forget about you guys. And now, because there was no CFL last year, I did the last 5 years when the home teams. And look at this here, 55% of home teams winning the CFL. Pros, right? Same thing with the pros up here, 54% NFL. And college football, 60%. I'd love to see what college basketball is, see if it's in the 60s. Now, in the CFL, teams on a 3-game losing streak, there's the favorites again. Look at that. Wow. Hey, and you know what? It might always. Why does everything come back to Seinfeld, right? Remember Kramer? Hey, Kramer, you going to the game this weekend? Oh no, I'm a CFL fan. Kramer loves the CFL and Seinfeld. Spoil, it's a show, right? But 87% of favorites in the CFL the last 5 years on a 3-game losing streak win 13-2. 80% against the point spread. And looking at the over/under, wow, look at the over. And it's, the Canadian Football League is 3 downs, and the fields are 10 yards wider, 10 yards longer. And, if you, the air raid, I think Mike Leach and Hal Mummy would have a blast coaching the CFL with their air raid, and even June Jones with his run and gun type offense. But, yeah, look at that. Teams in the CFL on a 3-game losing streak, consider the over. 65% on any team on a 3-game losing streak. Home teams, 62%. Away teams, 69%, but the underdogs, look at the dogs, 75%, so maybe some blowouts right there. Teams on a 4-game losing streak in the CFL, again, look at the favorites, but look at that, it's only 38%, so be careful betting, but look at the under. Look at the under on the 3- and 5-game losing streak. So if you want to play the over in the CFL on teams that are on, their due factor, keeping with the title, maybe you're due to go over here on a 3-game losing streak on any of the rolls, home, away, favorites, or underdogs. And looking at the favorites on a 5-game losing streak, not a lot of occurrences. Keep in mind there's only 8 teams in the CFL. So 8 or 9, yeah, 8. I think there's 8 or 9. Never know, right? Well, Ottawa came back, so 9 teams. Yeah, it should be 9 teams. So hey, I'm a Canadian guy, and I got mixed up on that. See what COVID done to me? It made me forget my own friggin' league. Yeah, so 75% of the favorites on home but think about it. That's why there's not a lot of occurrences. Only 4 games on a weekend. You're only getting 5 occurrences or 4 occurrences in the last 5 years on favorites on a 5-game losing streak. Normally favorites in the CFL will win their games, right? All right, there you have it. That is the edition today of the Raymond Report, the due factor. And as you can see, The question is to win or not to win on a do factor, and the answer is, the answer is, it's always, it sounds like the answer is in the win. The answer is pattern recognition. That's what I'm starting to see. Home teams 60% or 55% in the NFL or CFL in the pros. But look at baseball, hockey 60%. Favorites win at the same clip, around 60%. So that's why it's important to really find out the coming off situation of games going into the game, and do your homework. Do your homework and don't fall for the do factor. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, shop for value, play those percentages. We'll see you back shortly with another Raymond Report tip.